Recording in progress.
Good morning. Let me call the City Commission special meeting October 21st, 2021 to order, and I'm going to request that the city clerk call the roll.
Mayor Weissman,
Here.
Vice Mayor Dr. Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Evans,
Present.
Commissioner Freeland,
Present.
Commissioner Landman,
Here.
Commissioner Narosky,
Present.
Commissioner Shelley,
Here.
Mr. Wasson,
Here.
and Mr. Wolpen.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. I know that we have a request that's going to come to us via Zoom, so
Mayor, if you just have to recognize Mr.
is
Kluger.
he on the Zoom? A little hard to see, as I asked before. Can you please put it on the screen where we can see it? Okay, all right. Okay, the lights, I'm getting a request also. Can you make it a little lighter on the dais because they can't see? And good morning, Alan.
Good morning. How are you?
I am great. I'm going to recognize Alan Klugler, and I'm going to turn it over to him for this minute.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, and good morning, members of the commission. So here's where we are in this case. It's interesting, as I'm speaking, there's a hearing going on right now in Palm Beach before Judge Kelly, which I'll explain in a second, on whether he's going to impose the Palm Beach payment retroactively. Let me lay out the deck and I'll explain. So the last time I was in front of the commission, I told you that I believed that the en banc, which is the full court of the 4th District, would reverse the 3-judge panel and would order that the referendum was supposed...
Alan,
Yes.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Mr. Kluger, David Wolpen here. You recall that we have a couple of members that have always abstained from anything dealing with the merits of the action. Your purpose this morning should just be simply to make the request for the scheduling of an attorney-client session. That's all.
Okay.
And then at that session, you'll be able to give a briefing and request further direction. But now it's just simply to make a request that the statute requires, that you just say that you're requesting a city manager schedule an attorney-client session. I would ask you to just limit it to that.
And I will limit it to requesting a special session where it will be protected under the statute by attorney-client privilege.
Correct.
I didn't intend to give any advice here. I was going to give an overview, but I understand, and I think it's best we do it that way.
Thank you. So, Mr. Wasson?
I've heard the request, and I will contact the commission and set up a date and time.
Is that all right with you, Mr. Klugler?
It is, and I will appear in person with sufficient notice, Mr. City Manager. Today, I have to be in 2 places pretty much at the same time, so it was a little difficult.
Well, Alan, you can do anything. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you
day.
so much. Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Thank you. The only item on this special meeting, I'm going to request that the city clerk read the resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, approving a communications consulting services agreement between Public Communicators Group, LLC, and the City of Aventura, providing for the provision of professional communication consulting services for the City of Aventura, providing for authorization, providing for implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I ask for a motion for approval of the resolution? Made by Commissioner Shelley, seconded by Commissioner Freeland. I'm going to request the city manager to review the item.
Thank you, Mayor. At the last workshop, it was the communicated desire of the commission to have a more coordinated communications plan across all the departments in the city, increase our social media platform use, particularly when it came to video content, and increasing viewership to the residents. This particular plan that's before you, consulting contract, would address many of those things and a lot more in the scope of services. Not only a plan will be developed, but crisis management training would be included with that, preparation of public documents that would be used for dissemination to the city, and actually just to help us with the overall planning of an effective communications with the city.
Okay, thank you. We had quite an extensive discussion at our workshop, but do any commissioners have any comments or questions? Commissioner Shelley.
Yeah, will Evan be speaking so we can ask him questions, or is that going to be?
Really, it's not on my agenda. It's you that has the right to ask questions, and if there are questions that come up, I have no problem at all asking Mr. Ross to come up.
All right, then to the city manager. Mr. Watson, the question I have is not that we don't have a need. Could you be more specific as to the delineation between what his job will be versus what we already have in this city? And then you mentioned something about crisis management and plans of those kind. Could you elaborate a little bit more on specifically what the function would be that he would be performing?
Right now, most of the communications in the city goes through the city manager's office. They're run out of a new communications department that was separated from the IT department. And one of the things that was the desire to build up more video and more content that would drive more people to our social media sites. The city does a lot of very good things, and I don't pretend to know exactly everything about social media, but the more people click on it, it draws more people to your site. And it's an algorithm that goes out to all our users. One of the things that we definitely want to do is increase the amount of people that sign up for our services. We do have a lot, but we want to increase it, generally by at least 25%. That's one of the things in this consulting agreement that would be one of the things we would be looking to do.
So he will be dealing with our constituents as well as other cities and counties. Is that what I'm understanding?
Everything will still have to go through the manager's office. I want
No, but the intent of the function of his job, the job description is to get decimated information out to our constituents as well as the public.
through our social media.
And just one last question, the credentials, have you checked to make sure that this is something he's capable of doing?
Well, I can speak that he's been working in a consulting capacity for the city in the last year. He's done several projects for me that he's done very well, particularly This Is Our Shot. I hope I got that one right. It's Our Shot. I know I always get that mixed up. But he's got a lot of resources when it comes into that realm, and I know Mr. Ross for several years, so I think he's capable of doing it.
Do you feel he's capable of doing the job?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Narodsky, then Vice Mayor.
I'm going to take a minute here because I've served here for 7 years, I believe. I've been here for 7 years. This actually made me very angry. I'm very upset today. I think that this is not needed. I don't think this is the Aventura way. I think that we've always funneled everything through the manager's office, through our website. We've always tried to stay low and out of the news. And once we entangle ourselves, there's no going back. I think we have a great city. I think this is the wrong way to go. I think that by playing this game of constantly someone comments on our Instagram and we have to comment back, that's just not what we're here for. This costs $180,000 of taxpayer monies a year. I don't think it's an appropriate allocation of our funds. We're here to protect and use the dollars wisely. I almost even drafted a little speech. I've never done that before. I always speak off the cuff here, but I was just really upset by this entire thing. We control the narrative. We're not here. We're not They're to respond to every tweet and every quote. We're a city of 40,000 people. We're not Miami-Dade County. I'm really, really against this allocation, and I think it's very wasteful spending. What's going to happen when there's a new social media platform? Then we're going to have to hire additional services to go and respond to the next Twitter, the next Instagram, the next Snapchat, the next TikTok. We're not in a business of creating films and projects. We've always done very well by keeping it small, by keeping it direct, and having a single source of communication that's vetted through the city manager's office. We just created a separate department to handle this that broke off from traditional IT, and we can handle it in-house. That's my first point. My second point is the way that this is being done without, first of all, I'm against it. I wouldn't support spending this money in any way. Nothing against Mr. Ross, who's a class act. I know him for several years. He's a great guy. There's nothing to do with that. I don't question his credentials. I think it's wasteful and unnecessary, and I think it's an expansion of the services. So that's my first point. My second point is the way that we're doing this is also not the Aventura way. I've been here again 7 years. I was kind of like on a bridge generation, I'll call it, with a mayor, with Bob, with Denise, from the old timers. We still had, in touch with Eric, who was the original city manager. We knew what the original founders of the city intended. This is not it. To push something through without a public bid like this, that's just not the way we do things. It's not the right way. So much so that we had to get a separate memo advising us from our council that we need a supermajority of 5 votes to pass it. That smells a little fishy. I don't like it. I'm very upset by this entire process, and I object on both fronts, and I would strongly encourage everyone on this table to really take a good look at our history, how we've done, and the processes that we've upheld, because it doesn't look, Evan's a friend I consider him a professional colleague. We all know him. He's worked on some of our campaigns. It smells. It smells when you're giving a contract to someone that we know without public bid, needing a super majority for services that I believe to be questionable in the first place. So I respectfully am against this item. I will be voting against it, and I strongly implore my colleagues to take a good look at this. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Vice Mayor Marks.
Oh, great, I have to follow that?
Well, you raised your hand. You raised your hand.
Okay, well, first of all, disclosure that during my campaign, Evan, from time to time, I would call him and ask him a question, so I just wanted to disclose that information. However, I have been, and I don't want to refute or have anything, I don't want to, that wasn't the reason that I was going to speak, nor did I know what you were going to say. My question, however, has to do with, and I don't know if it's the city manager or if we want to ask Evan, because to me, we have not been communicating with our public. Checking a website does not communicate with the public, and we are doing so many wonderful things, and we have so many wonderful opportunities. And my interest, I'll be honest with you, I agree. I'm not necessarily interested in the Miami Herald or any of that stuff, but I am very interested in reaching our public and ensuring that they know what we're doing at all times, because we are here serving this public. And right now, I believe the number is 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000 people at the most are even getting push information from us. We don't even mail any longer out. There used to be a quarterly newsletter. We don't even do that. So I feel that we must do a better job communicating with our public. I think it's our responsibility to do that. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. I'm very interested in the part, I understand social media or this or that, but really my interest is strictly in reaching our public, because why are we here otherwise?
Thank you. Commissioner Friedland.
Thank you. I want to just echo what Dr. Mark said. I think that our city has so many great things going on. We're doing so much we can to help the public. I think they need to know. And a website that you're supposed to figure out to go to is, we're not the old city of Aventura. I've lived here for 30 years. There were 2 buildings on Williams Island when I moved here. We are not the same city, and we have to move and change with the times. This is the way we communicate. We saw our last president tweeted nonstop. We saw social media. Whatever the social media is going to be, it's going to keep changing, and we have to keep up with modern society. We may have had buses that ran on an old system. We know now that may not be the most productive thing for our city. We have to change with the times. We need to tell people, communicate. I appreciate Mark is concerned about money, and I do, but we have to do what's best for our city, for our people. We need to let you know when there's an event going on at the city government hall to raise money, or people want to reach our commissioners. They don't know how to reach us. And I've lived here for so long, I've seen such a change. We have to change. Times have changed. This is the way. We reach out by social media. And if it's going to be Twitter, if it's going to be Snapchat, if it's going to be Facebook, it's going to keep changing. And that's why I think we need a highly experienced team. We've seen Mr. Ross do projects for the city that have been effective. We need to be with someone who knows how to keep moving and changing with the times. So that's what I wanted to say. And I know we had a wonderful city manager. He did things differently before, but we were a different city. We are not a small city. We happen to have one of the largest malls in the country. We are about to have one of the largest transit systems. How are people going to know about this? We have to be able to reach and communicate with our public, and I think this is important. So I strongly encourage us to keep moving with the times and recognize that we are a new modern society and a new modern city and have to vote in favor of moving forward. Thank you.
Commissioner Shelley, then Commissioner Evans.
Yeah, I want to.
I will get to everyone. Don't.
This is the question for City Attorney, because Mark, Commissioner Narodsky raised something about the process, the bidding, and how it was accomplished, and whether it was done properly under sunshine. Based on the fact of that, could you respond to if this was done properly, if it met the criteria of the legality of our city charter, et cetera?
Thank you, Commissioner. The city charter, section 310, allows purchases of professional services to be made without bids, but it requires 5 affirmative votes of the city commission to approve that. And the resolution has a recital clause in there that follows the requirements of that charter section, that the commission finds that in this situation, it would be impracticable to go out for a bidding process. Some of the factors are time constraints and knowledge and performance of the person being proposed as one who knows the community, et cetera. So yes, this passes, the resolution as proposed passes muster under our city code and charter.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just a follow-up, and we have given no bid contracts, and I will mention the one that has always stuck in my craw. It was for our high school. The charter bid was a no bid. We were never given a memo from our city attorney. The construction company was no bid. We were never given a memo about our voting from the city attorney. We've had no bid contracts all the time during my 7 years. I think Commissioner Evans and then Vice Mayor Marks.
Yeah. When I was serving on the Community Services Advisory Board, on many occasions, we wanted to reach out and tell the community what we were doing. And it got a little bit frustrating. I'll give you an example. In the Go Green Awards, we wanted to reach all of the different buildings in Aventura, and to be honest, we got the same, very similar buildings every year for the Go Green Award, and I think it's an indication that we didn't do a large cross-section of the buildings. I think it's a frustrating thing, and other events that we had didn't reach that many people, and I would encourage us to get the communications up a bit, please. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor, may I have Commissioner Landman speak first? Then I will have given everyone an opportunity to speak, and then I'll get back to you. Is that all right? Okay, Commissioner Landman.
Thank you. So, Mark, I hear you. I also didn't love receiving that memo, but as our attorney stated, I do feel comfortable with someone who's in our community, who's grown up in our community, who knows our community's needs. And that's why I think it's a good fit in terms of doing this process and the way that we're doing it. Instead of going out for an RFP and anybody and everybody from all over South Florida could respond. So I think it's an opportunity to have someone who's really embedded into our community come in and help us do the work that we need to do. And as a communications expert myself, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to do more. There's always room to get a little bit better and reach a little bit more, a larger population, and to just get the message out more effectively in a more timely manner. And I think this is an opportunity for us to do that. And look, I believe we're trying it out. We're going to really see. He's going to have to deliver. He's going to have to give us results. And, we'll find out. We'll know. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it could be a really good opportunity for us to get to the next level of communications. And again, I think we've done a decent job at communicating. I really don't think we're the worst communicators, but I think you can always do better. So I think this is an opportunity for our community, and people might really appreciate it.
Vice Mayor Linda Marks.
I want to clarify something, and I guess I want to ask my city manager this question. So as a commission, we were simply, this was presented to us. At our last meeting, we tasked our city manager with coming up with a plan, correct? We asked him to please come up with a communications plan. And so I'm assuming this is the plan you came up with.
This is the plan.
Okay, so is this a decision that you made? In other words, this thing about the no bidding, which, we're just kind of hearing for the first time because we got this memo. Is this a decision that you made, city manager, or was there, where did this come from? Because we're being asked to do something that, is not through the bidding process. Can you tell us, is this what you want us to do? I have one more part of this. Okay, so that question first.
It's a two-parter?
Only one part for you.
Okay. Clearly, over the last year, I'll start off with the frustration level that I can tell you had, and certainly flows on my side too, because as much as we were trying to get to where we needed to be, it was hard. It was frustrating on my side too. So, at the last meeting, it just became very clear to me that we really had to take this step. Now, as far as Mr. Ross is concerned, I said before, I have worked with him in the past. I know him for many years, from different cities. I think the benefit of having somebody who's familiar with the city, and a lot of these things have already been mentioned, that was part of my decision-making process. He's also got a very strong vested interest here as he's doing this. I know, in speaking with him, there's a very high desire to be highly successful. It means a lot to him. It means a lot to us. Unfortunately, my history with IT, and from outside IT, or I can't say fully communications, they do a lot of times will promise you a lot, and then as you get into a project, it can bog down with things that just kind of over my head, but it's on the IT world, they can fall back and not deliver. I think this is a way of bringing somebody in that already knows what we want or want to see. That was my decision. That was my thought process, and that's why I went in this direction.
So you're bringing this to us because this is what you feel will best serve your needs and the needs of the city?
Yeah, I think a communication plan can be brought, can be done fairly quickly, too.
Okay, so then part B.
Go on.
Well, I have a B and a C, actually.
Go on. You
So
can
part
have
B.
B, C, D,
No,
E, F, and
only
G.
C.
There's no limit for commissioners, right, Mayor? I think you could speak.
Well, there is, if
I
somebody
do-
calls the question.
Which I'm about to do in part C. But,
Well, wait,
oh, it
because
can't?
I have not spoken, and Commissioner Evans wants to.
Oh, got it, okay, so I
I
can't.
just wanted to.
1 minute.
wait,
No,
wait.
she's not finished.
So I do want to just mention, Rachel, 1,000% we have to be with the times, and the city needs to constantly reinvent itself in every way, not just communication, but constantly, because things change. But I also want to just say publicly, because I see that, Evan, you're actually in this audience, and in the event that this is passed, I just want to say, but please don't forget, there is a population here that does not use social media. And so please, please, don't just, please be all-encompassing if in fact you are going to be the person, because my whole issue all along has been, please reach the community. Thank you. And I can't call the question because the mayor wants to speak. Thank you.
Commissioner Evans?
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on something that Commissioner Lanman mentioned about, well, we'll see how it goes. We are intending to, after 6 months, evaluate how it's going. So I think that is it's going to be a good position to be in there. So just wanted to add that.
And very well stated. Commissioner Narotsky, I have enormous respect for you. And the one thing I can say is in the 7 years that we have served together, the consistency is admirable. Okay, you're true to your values. My position on this is slightly different. And again, we're the city of Aventura, so we can have different opinions, and we don't have to treat each other like aliens or enemies. It's just a different perspective. My view is that cities, just like people, are living entities. And just like with each of us, cities, and this is throughout history, it's not indicative of Aventura, it's the entire world, certainly the developed world. Cities either go forward and progress, or they decline. And certainly 25 years ago, with probably half the population that we have today, or 30 years ago, and with the advance of technology, I think so much has changed. But over the 7 years, I consistently have heard, how come we don't know about this? How come we don't know about that? Why weren't we told? But I would like Commissioner Narotsky to know, I too agree with you. I don't think this is about responding back and forth to every tweet. That's why it's called communications. It's developing relationships with the press, the written press, the on-the-air press. It's being able to position our city in the most favorable status because we're the best kept secret. And I think that effective communication will only go to further enhance property values, enhance all of the efforts in this community. And I think I was probably, along with a couple of other people on the commission, giving our city manager one of the hardest times for not coming up with a communications plan. If this was about responding on Instagram, I would not be in support of this. So with that said, I'll let you go to your number C.
I am calling the question.
Okay, the question's been called. I'm going to... Okay. Let me open the item for public comment. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to address this item? Former Commissioner Michael Stern. I think you do have to state your name and address for the record.
Michael Stern, 20730 Northeast 30th Place. I wasn't planning on talking, but a lot of history here, as you all know. And Mark and Mayor just said it, but you have to look at the glass half full. There are so many good things the city is doing, and so many years, nobody knows what we're doing. This is about getting the word out, all of the secrets that we have, not about answering the tweets, not about the minutia. I don't think we're going to have that kind of stuff. I think we have to, we have these workshops and meetings, why doesn't anybody come? The Go Green Awards, everything we're doing, so many people don't know, and I know Marge is there in the back. We always have these conversations. This is an opportunity for the first time in the city's history to really show everybody what's going on. With the previous city manager, there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Twitter, there wasn't all this. So we did it a different way, and we had our newsletter, and that was really the only communication. So this is going to open up an enormous opportunity for so many things that we haven't been able to do. So give it 6 months, and 6 months evaluate it. If you don't like it, you cancel it. But having Evan, who we all know, knows the city, knows the history, so much easier for him to hit the ground running versus someone from the outside trying to learn the system. So I think it's a great choice, and hopefully you guys pass it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the commission? Come on up, Marge. Marge Rosenblatt.
Marge Rosenblatt, 19101, Mystic Point Drive, number 2301. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad Michael brought my name up because recently at a meeting, we talked about he's all in favor of social media, of internet, of all the things that a lot of people do not use. In fact, I pointed out some people in our community don't even have cell phones, or they have flip-top phones, which means they have no communication. We still need direct to resident. I agree with you, Dr. Marks. We need direct to residents. Everybody in this room does not use social media. We may know how, but it's not expedient. And for retired people, I, for one, am a very busy person. I don't have time to find out if my internet is working, but my phone is working. So thank you. And thank you, Michael, for bringing my name up and letting me say this. Usually I'm here for a different reason. Surrounded. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Dr. Marks?
I would like to call the question, item C.
Okay, the question has been called. I'm going to ask the city clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Landman?
Yes.
Commissioner Narosky?
No.
Commissioner Shelley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dr. Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Weissman.
Yes,
The motion passes.
and congratulations. Our expectations are very high, as you heard today. I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn the special commission meeting made by Commissioner Landman, seconded by Commissioner Evans. This meeting is adjourned. Okay. Right, we're moving right into our workshop, and it's the City Commission Workshop Meeting, October 21st, 2021. Once again, I'm going to ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Weissman?
Here.
Vice Mayor Dr. Marks?
Here.
Commissioner Evans?
Present.
Commissioner Friedland?
Here.
Commissioner Landman?
Here.
Commissioner Narosky?
Present.
Commissioner Shelley?
Yes.
Mr. Wasson is here, and Mr.
Here.
Wolfen?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. The first order, well, actually, our first presentation, item 2, a proposal to amend current existing arrangements with Clear Channel Outdoor, and I'm turning it over to our city manager, Ron Wasson.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, we spoke about this recently, that the train project for Brightline has changed significantly, and that they are adding an